Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. We're gonna take a look at the new Chanel quads today. I have both of them here. They arrived today. Really excited to get into them. I'll do swatches and of course create a makeup look with one of the quads. I haven't decided which one, and I even thought about using one of these or each one of these on each eye so you guys can get a feel for both of them. But I want to pair the appropriate blush and lipstick with the color story. So I think I will go with one quad and then we'll do another video dedicated to the other quad. What I have here is Lumières et Vibrations. The other quad is Douceur et Sérénité. Both are beautiful, but so different from each other. This golden shade here gives you that, automatically I want to put it on the center of my lid. It gives you that pop. I think this is both a look that is brightening, but we have two nice deeper shades to give you dimension and texturing. Whereas this quad here, I see a very smoky look, especially with this shade. And I wonder if nope, not all the shade textures are the same. I think this might be out of the two quads the only matte shade, but we'll know more once we get into the swatches. A little bit more about the palettes. Both of them are made in Italy and have shelf lives of 18 months. I'm also going to compare this against my other Chanel quads. So I have Allure et Éclat. I'm very curious about the shade here. I don't think it's a dupe, but I just want to see how similar it might be to this one. And also the shape of these eyeshadows in the pan. These ones have your classic kind of dome beveled shape, whereas this is completely flat. And I don't know what made them decide to set these a little differently than the rest. Then I have also one of the Le Beige quads. This is Intense, and I'm just curious what the texture of these shadows, the formulation, and how it compares to one of these. So let's move on to the swatches. I'm going to first begin with Lumière. The gold is a lot softer than I expected. Actually, they're all quite soft so far. We've got a nice creamy deep shade here. And the deepest shade actually has the creamiest texture. And I thought we would see some more glittery finish or specks in the swatch, but actually it has a satin finish. These two obviously are the most brightening, and this here has a kind of like, yeah, it has a soft metallic finish. Moving on to Douceur. This is that matte shade, and I'm not getting a lot of pigment from it. I might go back for a second application. These all feel pretty creamy to the touch, and this shade here does resemble, in terms of how it feels, resembles this shade. And while they're not the same shade, it does appear like that on camera. Like this shade from Douceur definitely looks more plum and purple, whereas this has more red to it. And then I'm going to take the Allure quad. I'm just going to swatch two of the shades here, the two that you can see the most on my skin tone. This shade, not the same as these two, but they look quite similar on camera. And if you have been considering this quad, I'm not sure, especially if you're drawn to this, like the deepest shade, I'm not sure I would recommend it over the new quads. I think there are other offerings that are more universal to different skin tones. And for the Le Beige palette, I'm taking this shade here and this shade to compare against the others. I think the texture is quite similar to the two new quads, so I don't think the Le Beige is particularly soft in pigmentation or particularly deep. One thing that is notable though is none of the shades on here have that same creamy texture as the deep shade from both of the quads. And one thing about the texture is that the Le Beige palette does not have any kind of creamy texture from the shadows, unlike with these two quads, the deepest shades do feel quite creamy and they kind of glide on with that creaminess to it. So there is difference in formulations, but overall not too significant. And I've decided which quad I will use to create today's look. It's going to be Lumiere. This gold shade here just catches my eye, and I do love a good gold eyeshadow. And I just see how easy it is to pair with these shades here. So I'm excited for that. Let's go ahead and create a look with it. I'm first starting by putting the shade all over the lid. Then taking the shade here, we're placing that above the upper lash line and then extending it to the outer corners. Then I'm blending that shade upwards into the crease. I'm then taking this gold shade here and placing that from the inner corner and sweeping it to the center of the lid. I'm going to be very generous with this shade. So this is 3 applications and it gives you both dimension and a lot of brightness in the look. Then going into the shade here, I'm placing that onto the crease and blending into the brow bone. For under the eyes, I'm going back into the shade here and just lightly lining it or tight lining. Then I'm taking this golden shade and putting that onto the center. And finally with the pinky, I'm going to pop this onto the inner corners. Let's add some liquid eyeliner. For blush, I'm taking Pat McGrath's Flirtatious. And for highlight, I'm also going with Pat McGrath. This is Golden Nectar. For lips, I'm taking one of my favorite Chanel lipsticks that I have. It is from the Rouge Allure Velvet line, and this is in the shade 227 Beige Rougissant. Has this really beautiful terracotta tone to it. I just love this shade. It has that brown, red, and like a bit of an orange undertone to it, and it just goes with any warm look. And I feel like you can wear it anytime, like any time of the year, any season. This came out end of last year or beginning of this year, but I still feel like you can wear it in the summer. It just depends what eye look you have. So let me put on some mascara and then we'll really come back for the finished look. So this is the finished look, and I like how everything turned out. I went with something very glowing today. I did use the Guerlain Meteorites as finishing powder, and this is Pearl Glow. This is limited edition and was released around spring, so like February, March of this year, I think February. If you are interested, I think it is still available. I will have a link below. And for some reason, whenever I do a gold eyeshadow look, I always prefer using a black kind of wing eyeliner to pair with it. Maybe because I'm influenced by like the 70s, you know, with the disco and the sequined outfits. They just, you know, this dramatic eye, like gold and this dramatic, you know, wing liner kind of goes hand in hand for me. I like how everything turned out. The lips contrasted against, you know, the glowing eyes and kind of all over the face look. Yeah, I really like this. Just as I was thinking that Lumière is going to be my preferred quad out of the two, I'm reminded of this shade here. So this matte shade is likely not going to show up a whole bunch on my lids, but you can use it as a nice base and use it to buff out seams. So that's not something that Lumière has. Lumière, as the name implies, is light, so everything that we have here is of a either shimmery or a metallic finish, and even this deepest shade here is like a satin, so it's not a flat texture. Whereas with Sérénité, this one is going to have different textures. You've got a matte shade here, you've got a metallic here, and then you've got these like satins. So I think these two are totally different. While I am drawn to this, I'm thinking this one might be the more interesting one. You can create more interesting looks with it. So we'll see if that is the case once I get around to it. Video of this quad with a look to follow very soon. And just out of curiosity, I wanted to see if there was a gold shade in my collection that might be similar to the one on Lumière. And I think I came close with the Pat McGrath quad here. So this is Nocturnal Nirvana. And while the texture is not going to be the same, I'm curious to see if the tone has some similarities. So Pat McGrath, and let's swatch Chanel again. Not quite. This is warmer and has more yellow, but in the pan, they do resemble each other enough to make me want to do a comparison. So there you have it, guys. If you can think of other comparisons you would like to see, and I do have it in my collection, I can definitely do some swatches and post them on the community tab within my YouTube channel, or I can also post them on Instagram and tag you in it as well. So let me know. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're having a good start to your week. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.